Translation purport given by His Divine Gracious Bhaktivan Swami Srila Prabhupada. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Purport. Krishna tells Arjuna that he should act in yoga. And what is the yoga? Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme by controlling the ever disturbing senses. And who is that Supreme? The Supreme is the Lord. And because he himself is telling Arjuna to fight, Arjuna has nothing to do with the results of the fight. Gain or victory are Krishna's concern. Arjuna is simply advised to act according to the dictation of Krishna. The following of Krishna's dictation is real yoga. This is practiced in the process called Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness only can one give up the sense of proprietorship. One has to become the servant of Krishna or the servant of Krishna. That is the right way to discharge duty in Krishna consciousness, which alone can help one to act in yoga. Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and as such, he is participating in the Varnashrama Dharma institution. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that in the Varnashrama Dharma, the whole aim is to satisfy Vishnu. No one should satisfy himself, as is a rule in the material world, but one should satisfy Krishna. So, unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. Om Jnanatimirandasya ध्यानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकधामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा शिव शरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दिनतारिणं हरे कृष्ण Hare Krishna. I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue and trying to understand the truth more and more by the mercy of the Acharyas. Somehow we are able to do it. So let us try to aspire more and more to take this truth. Krishna in this shloka is very clearly telling, perform your duty equipoised, do it for me. Abandoning all the attachment to success or failure in this world. Such equanimity is called as yoga. This is actually called as yoga. A lot of people have strong, very different understanding about yoga. Yoga means pressing nose left side, right side, sitting in the yogasana, padmasana, this asana, that asana, so many other asanas. No doubt, though, those asanas, I'm not saying that they're bad, they're helpful for giving the good health to a particular person. But that is all impersonal. There is no person behind it. So there is no connection through that. Yoga means connection. Actually, all the yogasanas are meant to please Vishnu, Krishna. Eventually, through that yogasana, one comes to state of goodness. And then through that goodness, he studies the scriptures. He understands the scriptures. He learns the science which is there in the scriptures. And then through that, he moves forward. That is the whole idea of the yoga. Not that I do yoga in my own way. I do yoga this way. I do yoga that way. That way, this is giving me good health. Let me do Suryasana, Surya Namaskar. When the moment I do Surya Namaskar, my health will be good. Yes, these are all valid. If you have right vastu, then your mind will be pacified. Your mind will be peaceful. These are all very valid things, but they don't bring a person to the state that yoga is to please Krishna. Who is Krishna? Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the real science of yoga. But the problem is, we have to ask this question: how do I please him? How should sadhaka should please the Lord? Exactly. This is where Guru Sadhu Shastra comes. If this question is not coming, how should I please Krishna? Then, if we don't have that desire, then you don't need spiritual mastery in one's life. You don't have to hear also. If you don't have a desire of how to please the Lord, of how to do take this science of Krishna consciousness, you don't have to hear, you don't have to chant, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to follow anything. Because if the desire is not there to please the Lord, then there's no point in doing any of these things. Because what is happening is unnecessarily a valuable human form of life is being not used in a right way. Don't. That means, but the intention is, if I'm not trying to please the Lord, perform your prescribed duties, equipoised, giving up all the dualities. Very clear, Krishna, perform your prescribed duty equipoised. Samatvam, what is that? State of equilibrium, equalness. We should do one's activities with the right state. Dear devotees, it's not easy to do in an equipoised state of consciousness. Equipoised state of consciousness means you should please the Lord. If I have that motive of pleasing the Lord, then my work will be the real work in Krishna consciousness. But if I'm not there in that state, then my work is not work. That is not karma yoga, but that is karma bandhana. You see the difference? If I work for Krishna, then that is karma yoga. If I work for myself, that is karma bandhana. Or if I work for my family, that is karma bandhana. Or if I work for my girlfriend or boyfriend or this or that, so many other things, that is all karma bandhana. What is that? No doubt they will give us little happiness. Through their association, they can give some happiness. Because they are also part and parcel of the Lord, right? That means the Lord has given them also the capability to give some enjoyment or to take some enjoyment from others. But that is very minute. But the whole idea is entire world is actually satisfied with that mild happiness. So that mild little happiness, they are forgetting the essence of everything is to work for Krishna. What is that? What is Varnashrama? Prabhupada is mentioning. Varnashrama means pleasing the Lord. If I am not pleasing the Lord, then that is not Varnashrama. That is something else. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning, right? It is said in the Vishnu Puran that the whole aim of to is to satisfy Vishnu. Yajnatat karmanoyatra lokoyam karmabam. Tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sanjas samacharaha. Yagnashishta sinashinta muchante sarvakil bunjate teto agampa. Yajnatat karmanoyatra. What is that? If you're doing any yagya means what? Your sacrifice. Sacrifice has to be done for Vishnu, Krishna, through his representative. When the sacrifice is done through Vishnu, what happens is, then lokoyam karma bandhana. Otherwise, what happens? This entire loka is filled with karma bandhana. Tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangas samacharaha. Krishna comes in the later verses that how important is to do sacrifices for whose happiness. How important is to work for whose happiness? How important is to sleep? You're sleeping, whose happiness we are sleeping? You're getting up, whose happiness we are getting up? You're doing any service, for whose happiness we are doing this service? That means the moment the thought of sense gratification is coming, you should understand, "Arey, this is not pleasing my Lord. This is not pleasing my spiritual master. I will not do this." This state of consciousness is the greatest protection. Sadhaka should be very vigilant because what is happening is at every moment we either do a good karma or a bad karma. A devotee is aloof from this good and bad karma. A devotee is also living here. He is also continuously leading his life. But a pure devotee, what happens is his consciousness is totally different. He doesn't do good karma, he doesn't do bad karma. Because his whole focus is to please Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. He always thinks about the scriptures. He always tries to see what I can do at this particular moment, how I can serve, how can I help you. This is their attitude. That means what are they doing? They are always connecting to the roots, back to the roots, back to the roots, back to the roots. What is that back to the roots? For example, if the teacher is teaching the children, let's say the teacher is teaching computers. There's so much advanced things in computers, artificial intelligence, this, that, how that is working, what is what is cloud computing, huh? What is SDLC? Oh, some very detailed subjects are there. The child doesn't know all of those things. But still you have to show the child the computer. Oh, how you will show the child the computer? By showing some small app or some small application so that he can understand the computer. Now he'll ask what is this backspace, what is this enter, what is this space bar? Because he doesn't know. But if a person who is so much absorbed in the computer science, is a geek, he did his bachelor's and master's is also working. And for him, nobody has to tell what is enter. Nobody has to tell what is spacebar. Nobody has to tell what is backspace. So pure devotee is like that. I was just thinking, the child who is just learning uh, is like ourselves, very lowly. We don't know what Krishna consciousness is. We are trying to learn step by step. We're trying to understand. Understanding means in application. Understanding one can know, one can quote the scriptures also. Understanding means application. What is a real understanding? Real understanding, when it comes into application, then you are not doing good karma or bad karma. That is devotion. Just understand, if this application is continuing entire day, you become a powerful reservoir. You give a power packed resource where whoever comes through that association, they get so much benefited. The science of Krishna consciousness. They get feelings, they get convictions, they get realizations, they get reflections. Because what are they doing? They're trying to take the association of a person where that person is trying to put the applications more. He's telling the practical details. For example, I'll tell something. Because let's say the mind is troubling the sadhaka. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. He tells you in a very simple way. Here, what is he telling? What is that yoga? He's telling yoga. Yoga means to concentrate the mind upon the Supreme Lord and controlling the ever disturbing senses. What is the senses? He's not telling that, oh, controlling the senses. No, ever disturbing. That means what the senses would do. Even if you practice 20 years, we with that, what is that? With application also, still the senses will disturb. When one sees the opposite body, senses will show, okay, okay, see there, see there. That means what has to be done at that moment also, the jiva has to take shelter of Guru Sadhu Shastra. Through that shelter, because the mind will tell so many things. Because I was just observing how the mind will actually show us various showcases. Dear devotees, if you are alone, mind will not show those things. Mind will show those things which we are weak. For example, if we have some weakness, we have some desire, but we don't fulfill that desire when we are not alone. That desire will only populate into our consciousness when we are alone. That's how the mind works. That means you are with 10, 20 people. The mind will not tell, do this, see that. No, no. But when you are alone, the mind will say, oh, this is the time. Watch this. What the mind will tell? This is the time. Watch this. Or that is the time. Do that. This is the time. Do this. That means whatever is a weakness, mind will show that weakness. I'm just giving an example. There's so many things like that. Mind will tell, think about those days are very nice when you are young, when you are like this, when you are like that, you have done so much. Think about those days. Our mind will not tell, open up Prabhupada books, read the scripture or put up the hearing, do some hearing. Our mind will not tell. The intelligence has to tell at this moment. That means mind is telling to watch this because that's what Prabhupada is mentioning. That is yoga actually. What is it? Why you are GA yoga? Mind Manasa deha geha jogi chumor arpilo tuva pade Nanda Kishora. That means the consciousness of a sadhaka should, Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj is telling, the consciousness of sadhaka should be in such a way that mind, body, intelligence, senses, everything should be done for the pleasure of the Lord. Who is Nanda Kishore? Is not our neighbor. Nanda Kishore is the supreme personality of God, Krishna. That means the mind, body, intelligence, senses all have to be worked on for this particular person's happiness. But this seems to be a big journey, big task, because mind is very voracious, intelligence is even voracious, senses very wild. How the senses are wild? You show something, you show some sweets to it, or you show something else to it. Your stomach is already filled. The mind wants to take more. The senses wants to take more. And your health is also not good. Still the mind will tell, no, 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 take that, eat that, do like that, do like this, be like that, be like this. And a mind will continuously tell. Now, on one side, mind is telling, but on the other side, if the intelligence is not strong, because in intelligence also there is karma. What is that? Just like there is karma in the mind, there is karma in the senses, there is karma in the intelligence, there is karma in the false ego also. What is this karma? Desire, lust. Yeah. So this mind, through that desire, it will tell so many things. For example, if the intelligence also has that karma, what happens is he will just do what the mind is telling. The sad part is we don't even realize that we have done that. We don't even realize that, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but I did it. That is the even more sad part. Because mind will take us away. It will cheat us away in so many ways. That's what Prabhupada is telling. The mind has to be controlled from ever disturbing senses. What is this ever disturbing senses? The senses, the moment it would see, our eyes are there. Do we close our eyes always? That means you are not seeing any sense objects. Like Gandhari, can you put the cloth and lead our life? We cannot do that. You cannot put the cloth and then drive the car. You have to open your eyes. You have to open. You have to open and chant your round. You have to open and prepare bhoga. You have to open your eyes and take prasadam. You have to see these worldly people. You have to see the consciousness. You have to see our consciousness, their consciousness, everyone else's consciousness. You have to deal with sense objects. That means the senses are there. When the sense objects are there, senses will jump onto the sense objects. Because that's what senses will do get happiness through that. Now, why the senses are jumping to the sense object they about it? Because the mind has experienced the happiness through the sense objects before. For example, when you are a child, when you are in childhood, you watch cricket very nicely. No, after coming to Krishna consciousness, you came to know that cricket is you should not watch because it is not benefiting us. Rather, it will usurp our consciousness, or football, or so many other things, or tennis, huh? Or some video games which you played when you are in childhood. Mind will tell if you have some free time, mind will tell, okay, do that or see that. See, World Cup is coming. Football World Cup. I don't know it is completed or not. Football World Cup is there. Okay, let us watch those games. Cricket, let us watch those. Because whenever the free time is there, mind will tell. Because it's the sense object, right? Because through that, what mind has already experienced some happiness before. Yet, what is another interesting aspect we need to observe here? You know why? What mind would do is mind would actually tell those problems, tell those happiness which you experienced before. It will share those happy experiences. For example, a boy has a girlfriend and girlfriend has a boyfriend, and later on their relationship was broken, and then he was beaten by the parents of the girl. So the mind will not remember the beatings of the parents which they have done of the girl, but the mind will only have the trace of good experiences which he had experienced with that particular girl, or vice versa. So what am I trying to say is, mind will imprint those things into one's consciousness which gave good experience to you. This is how the mind will trick us. The mind will not show the bad experiences. This is the whole point, dear devotees. When we go to hellish planets, we don't remember all the trauma which happened. Do we remember the trauma? Does anyone remember all the trauma which we went through in the hellish planets? We don't. The moment we don't remember, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. For example, you're sleeping. You received a dream in the sleep. The moment you get up, let's say the dream is a bad dream. Do you want to forget the dream or remember the dream? Naturally, you want to forget that. Exactly, the mind will do that because it is already trained in our consciousness in such a way that mind will only imprint the good things. This is the whole point. Mind again and again, puna puna charvita charvinanam, chewing the chud. It is chewing the chud again and again. Why? This is the whole point. Because the mind doesn't understand the complexities which comes after that. Mind is only seeing those experiences, those little good experiences. But they are only very limited. Mind will not tell that also. For example, today you ate 10 gulab jamuns. That was very heavy. But a 3, 4 gulab jamuns, whatever experience you have, that's a good experience. Mind will imprint that. Mind will not take the other principles. Because if the mind is taking the other things, that means how is the mind is taking the other things? The intelligence have to be very sharpened. If the intelligence also has karma in it, it cannot stir that. There's a reason why mind doesn't stir that also. That's why Prabhupada is mentioning somehow the mind has to be fixed at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality Godhead. For example, if the intelligence is sharpened, let's say you have eaten 10 gulab jamuns and you got a realization that eating gulab jamuns is not satisfying my heart. No doubt it is prasad, but it is eating gulab jamuns is not satisfying my heart. Then what happens? Then that imprint goes into your consciousness, just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. When he was a child, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was a very child, he was a like 4-year-old boy. He ate mango without offering. And Bhaktivinoda Maharaj came to know about that. His father, he said, my dear child, you shouldn't eat anything which is not offered. That's it. That imprinted into his consciousness. No doubt the mind gave him good experiences. Mango is what dear devotee. Is it not a good experience? It is good experience. But what happened? He took a vow to his entire life that he will not touch mangoes again. That means whoever is bringing mangoes, he is remembering that. See his intelligence. See his relationship. See his devotion to the process. This is what exactly we have to. This is what is called as controlling the mind. This is how one will actually control the mind. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is understanding. I'm a sinful, I committed sin. I did not obey the instructions of my father. I committed sinful activity. I cannot touch you. I don't deserve to touch mangoes. His devotees are bringing Mahaprasad, mangoes Mahaprasad. Rajbhog, mangoes, Rajbhog, from the Rajbhog they're bringing. He says, he prays, he offers obeisance, he touches the prasad, but he doesn't eat it. Because every moment he's remembering. Actually, if he's alone in his room, he could have eaten the mangoes, but he's never feeling alone like that. What is he feeling? He's always thinking, oh, I have committed a mistake. I cannot. I cannot. Dear devotees, this trace can be applied into our life also in association with our spiritual master. I do certain works in my life for their happiness. And I'm continuing those vows. See, some days here and there, I might break those vows here and there, like eating only once. I might eat little more on one day. That little here and there is okay, but continuously following that cannot. It can only be done if you are doing it for the higher purpose. Just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, he is doing it for his father, Bhakti Thakur Maharaj. We should do it for our spiritual master, for Srila Prabhupada. If we keep them into our heart, you can follow these principles. The mind is telling, mind will wander, mind will tell, okay, do sense enjoyment. But no, you should the intelligence should tell, no, this is not pleasing my this is not pleasing my spiritual master. This is not pleasing Srila Prabhupada. This kind of relationship you have to establish. Not like Tom, Dick, and Harry. Just like we say, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. No, not like that. The Jai Prabhupada should go into the conscious. What is Jai Prabhupada? Jai Prabhupada means we are offering, we are extending. Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you are giving the relationship to us so much. As a token of appreciation, we want to extend that gratitude by chanting Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. That means we are reciprocating to that relationship. So this is how exactly the mind has to be checked. If the mind is not checked like this, frustration will come. What is that frustration? Oh yes, I've been chanting since so many days. I've been doing like this, I've been doing like that, but still I cannot able to follow. Frustration will come. And then what happens? Arey, this process doesn't work. No, the process is working. So many acharyas have done that. So many pure devotees are doing it. Now, why can't we do it? We can also do that when we keep them in our heart. This is called as Yagnartat Karmano Yatra Yulokoyam Karma Bandhana. That means you do that yajna, you do that sacrifice for the pleasure of the Lord. You're eating once, you do it for the pleasure of the Lord. And any austerities you are doing, you should ask the higher authorities, take their permission. If you're not doing, that's okay. But if you want to do any austerity, you should take permission. Because through that permission, what happens? They will invoke those blessings. If they say this is not good for you, then don't do it. If they say do it, the blessings are there, then do it. Through this, what is happening is you are putting a delimiter, a check and balance is there. When a check and balance is there in the consciousness, what happens? We know where we are heading. We have a clarity. Just like a person taking the ticket of going from Tampa to Hyderabad, he has a ticket. From Tampa, he'll go to Dubai. From Dubai, he'll go to Hyderabad. One stop, right? Or from Tampa to New York, whatever, New York to Dubai, Dubai to Hyderabad, two stops. He knows the destination. Doesn't matter, it's two stops or one stops or direct flight, but he knows the destination. Will he stop in Dubai and then say that, oh, this is my town? No, his destination is Hyderabad. He has to get on at Hyderabad. There's no other option for him. No matter if the flight is going some other places, still he'll try to connect to Hyderabad. Because what is that? That is his destination. Please understand it about this. Likewise, our mind, we should know what has to be given to this. If the mind is given Krishna conscious, it will take it. Because mind, just like they don't want it, please understand this. If the mind is experiencing some little happiness through sense gratification, which it is tracing in the consciousness, doesn't it trace the good things, good experiences which you shared, which you gained through Krishna consciousness? It will trace that also. When it will trace that, when your intelligence is very sharpened. When your intelligence is sharpened, it will trace that. It's very important. But when the intelligence is not sharpened, it will not trace. For example, you really experienced some divine experience. You chanted Hare Krishna, or you heard the class, you felt very happy. It's a very joyful experience. That's more than the happiness which you gained through so-called happiness which is coming through the material plane. So how that experience will also be vanquished. It cannot stay. You know why it is vanquishing? Because we don't know the destination, right destination. We don't know the right destination. Devotee, do 1 second. Devotee, 1 second. Give me 1 second. So that's all the experiences. See, what is devotion? What's Krishna consciousness? Consciously, you, no matter what happens, the experiences have to be logged in, kicked in. For example, if we go and ask an investor that how he will do the investment in a fund or in a bond, something like that, or in gold or silver, how he will do. Immediately he'll tell, he will see the last 5 years track history, and then he will see at what points there are dips. Dips means the market went down. He will see the dips, and then he will see the current scenario. And then if the current scenario is on a high end, he will not do investment. The current scenario is in the dip state, then that is when he will jump in. Because why? He knows those details. He knows the details of what to do at what time. He's a very clear person. Okay. So dear devotees, like this, when there is a dip, you immediately jump onto that and then you invest some money, 10 rupees, 20 rupees or something like that. Just giving an example. Likewise, when you received an experience in Krishna consciousness, that has to be logged in. You know how you log the experience? The moment you receive the experience, if you really honestly know from where this experience is coming, then that experience is logged into our consciousness. If I think that that experience is coming through me, which is untruth, then the experience will not be logged in. Because that experience is really genuinely, it's little happiness you will definitely experience, but that cannot be sustained on the longer run because we are seeing that ourselves as a source of that experience. Just like, yeah, I was telling, right? Connecting back to root. Connecting back to root is the source of everything. If I don't connect back to root, if I don't establish that connection of everything back to root, then I will stop somewhere in between. I don't want to stop like that. I want to continue my journey in Krishna consciousness. If one wants to continue the journey, he has to lock in all the experiences by expressing our gratitude to those personalities, Srila Prabhupada, to Krishna, to our spiritual teachers. When we do that, what happens is, then those experiences will be locked in. Then next time when you're chanting, if you're going through a bad patch, through the intelligence, that experience will come. What that experience will tell you, you know what? That particular you chanted very nicely. That means this process is working. You are also experiencing. My intelligence will tell the mind, see, you experience that happiness. Try to gain that happiness by depending more. Chant sincerely. By the Krishna's mercy is there, if the spiritual master's mercy is there, you'll experience that again. I'll give a practical example from the scriptures also again on this. Narada Muni, when he saw Krishna in Bhagavatam, after his mother died, a snake has bitten his mother and then she left. She was the only attachment to her. And then he said, oh, my dear Lord, this is your attachment. You gave me, now you have taken me. Now you are showing me a path that Krishna consciousness is the only thing for me. So Narada Muni goes and then goes into the forest, deep into the forest, and then he does deep meditation. This is in Narada Muni's previous life. Then he would see Krishna face to face. Oh, through that he gained so much happiness, so much happiness, so much happiness. But after that, he's not experiencing that. Now we should also understand how is that Narada Muni getting that? Like how is that Narada Muni was able to see the Lord? Because he did all the things which our acharyas did. Fully surrendered, doesn't have anything for himself. Everything belongs to the Lord. Nothing for himself. He's not keeping anything for himself. Rakshashiti iti vishwaso. He's doing everything which is favorable to Krishna. He's rejecting everything which is not favorable to Krishna. He's doing all of those things. So all of those things, and then he's not thinking that I am doing all of these things. He knows from where it is coming. He is always keeping that Mahabhagavatas in his consciousness. Because those Mahabhagavatas, Uchishta, the remnants, he has eaten those remnants of those Mahabhagavatas. Through eating those remnants, that's how he's able to see the presence of the Lord now. He's fully clear with that. Now, experience came because his consciousness is like that. Experience did not come because his consciousness is like Hiranyakashipu. Experience came because his consciousness is like this. Is how is like this? Is fully dependent on. He is actually dependent on their mercy. No, after that he's again trying to see the Lord, trying to see the Lord, but the Lord said, "I will not show you again. You have to withhold this experience." And Narada withholded that experience, not in one life. In the next life also he could remember that. Because next life he was telling Vyasadeva about what happened in his previous life. That means Narada Muni, through his devotion, through his bhakti, he was able to remember the experience which he carried in the previous life. That means see how much devotion he has done. This is very important subject about what I'm sharing right now. That means the experience which he carried in the previous life, that is carried forward into his next life. That means it's a very huge time he had devoted. If you actually see in his previous life, that was in another kalpa. Oh, so many lifetimes, so many yugas went by, but still he's remembering that experience. That means this is how diligently we have to lock down all these experiences which we gain to Krishna consciousness. And we can only gain all these experiences in Krishna consciousness. How? By being ever grateful to our teachers. By remembering every nitty-gritty details which they have done to us. And by fully dependent on the worship of the Lord. This is how we gain the experience. That's how you locked in. Now this has to be given to the mind. When we give this experience to the mind, then mind somehow by the mercy of the Lord, it can go away from the gratification of senses. Because these ever disturbing senses are always there, ever. That means at if the senses are disturbing us ever, that means the mind also has to be absorbed ever. Obviously, right? If the mind is absorbed for a momentary, the senses use the other moment to devour the consciousness. But if the mind has to be fully absorbed into that science, then there is no scope for the senses because the mind has to experience that happiness. Continue to think in those lines so that these experiences are intensified. This is bhakti. That means what are you doing? You are constantly serving, and then through that services, you are internalizing your chaitanya, consciousness, internalizing the conscious. You are checking your heart. Just like Vyasdeva was checking his heart. He had a problem. What is the problem? He wrote everything. After writing everything, his heart was not satisfied. वो सब कुछ लिखा है. He wrote everything. Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas. Huh? It's a very pity thing. And if a person who has written those things, he's not gaining happiness. What to speak about people who are following those things? How can they feel be happy? How can they be happy? That's why Bhagavatam gives the answers to everything. That means when the heart was not happy, immediately spiritual master came. He said, Nardamani, what is the problem? Then he said, Vyasdev, what is the problem? Nardamani understand what's the problem. Vyasdev, he said, you leave all of these things, come to Bhagavatam. What is Bhagavatam? Glories of the devotees of the Lord and the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Entire Bhagavatam is that. That gave him satisfaction. This exactly has to be given to the mind. Otherwise, this mind, it will take us in different ways. It will show us sense gratification in thousand ways and tell us you do this, you do that, so many ways. It will trick our consciousness in so many ways. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. What is real yoga? Not like you sit in the Padmasana. No, the yoga is the mind has to be Savaya Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. This is called as yoga. Savay Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. The mind has to be fixed up at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Vatitamam Vishame Babam Buddho कृपया तव पाद पंकजस्य तद्धूलि सदृशं विचिन्तयात्. The mind has to be fixed up into that. But before that, what has to happen? Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagat. If I'm fixed to mind, if I'm fixed to money, if I'm fixed to dhana, if I'm fixed to jana, then this fixing up on the lotus feet of the Lord is not possible. Because the consciousness can only stay at one place, either on woman or either on Krishna, or either on money or either on Krishna. It cannot stay on money and Krishna together. They don't go together. Do you see pig and also human being both eating stool? We don't see. That's not possible. Pig only eats stool. A human being eats halwa. He doesn't eat stool. He eats halwa. He relishes halwa. He doesn't relish stool. Because pure devotee doesn't relish those things. Dana Jana Sundari. No, no, no. They relish this one. Krishna. His pure devotees. They release that. We have to come to this state. Why? Because they are sharing all the experiences, and then they are putting all those experiences in a capsule and then give that as a medicine to us in the form of Shravana to us. That's what they do. What is this book? This is a capsule of Srila Prabhupada's heart. Nectar. Wherever you touch, nectar is flowing. See, nectar is coming in the hands also. It's beautiful, dear devotee. It's nectar. Any line you open up. You remember 5.24, which I opened. I don't remember the verse. That verse, very beautiful. That means what is that? The jiva should always strive to come out of these material desires, these material gratifications of this world. Otherwise, she is totally bewildered or baffled up in this world. Hare Krishna. This we need to understand. The more we understand this, understand the importance of what the mind has to be given. They do it is with the children. Do we always think, oh, which which uh, which activity I should engage my child? Which activity I should engage him or her? What I should do with him on the long weekend? What I should do with him on the summer? There's a summer camp. Let me send my child to that summer camp. Don't we think like that? We think so many ways because we want to have the child is going through the good experiences. We think about that. Don't we have to think about ourselves? That means the mind can do so many things. It can read the newspaper, it can read the film magazine, it can read Stardust. I don't know if that is there or not. It used to be there. Stardust, this, that, film fair, so many other things. So if the mind is engaged in this, Proper says, this is crow mentality. Because what is happening? No doubt, mind has experienced some happiness before through that. That's why mind is hankering to that. But we should understand, no, this is not right. I shouldn't give my mind this. I should give higher experience. Samayamana Krishna Padara Vindaya. So I should constantly, sincerely try to deviate from one state to the other state. This we should do. This we should genuinely do it. This we should have this experience. Yes, Krishna, if I am not experiencing, then what is this? What is the whole point of practicing Krishna consciousness? See, we are practicing Krishna consciousness to be happy, right? Happiness you get through experience, through your consciousness. So that has to be given more importance. That means if the mind is constantly engaged in this, then the everlasting, ever disturbing senses will not disturb anymore. Even person who is going to the Bhava stage, still at that point of time also, it can be distracted if the person is not going through association. Bhava stage also, Bharat Maharaj, where he saw deer, was he in the Anartha Nivritti stage? No, he's in the Bhava stage. Next is Thai Bhava, next to Prema. It means it's almost love of Godhead, close to love of Godhead. That stage, he's sidetracked because of lack of association. Now, what to speak of? This is in Satya Yuga. They don't have cell phones at that time. Do they have cell phones, WhatsApp, YouTube? No. Still they were distracted. Now we have all of those things. Now how easy we can be distracted. The moment we see that our chanting is gone. The moment we hear that our chanting is gone. Ah, Krishna, Krishna. There's so much to do. There's so much to introspect, so much to internalize our consciousness. Really, what am I doing? Really, what am I chanting? Should think about that. 2 hours, we are spending 2 hours of chanting. Kya kar rahe hai 2 hours? For whose happiness we are spending 2 hours? All of these things have to be addressed. Then, if these 2 hours are addressed nicely, then rest of the time will also be addressed nicely. Correct. Thank you. We'll stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Would like to share? Uh, it's very important. Uh, 8.23. Right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept.
5.26. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Mataji, please tell.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very nice Prabhuji, very nice class Prabhu. So my takeaway is that uh, through constant practice, my internal consciousness will change, Prabhuji, and controlling mind is so important. And my intelligence is always I have to keep myself telling that this is not good, this is not good, and control, control, control. So as you give the example of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj, how controlled he is. He is a self-controlled acharya. So he never touched the mango in his life. So it's so much determined and a good intelligence he always used in his life. So Prabhuji, it's very nice to meditate upon Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, when I say my intelligence, my mind, so mind will tell me to do. So me means the soul, right?
Mm.
Me means the soul only. So no confusion on that. When
Me means the soul, and then the soul, that means anything which is coming from the heart level, that is actually the soul. That means anything which is actually in alliance with the Guru Sadhu Shastra, that is our heart actually. Actually, a lot of people have this understand. They always ask, "Oh, should I hear my heart? Should I hear my mind? Should I hear intelligence?" No, no, our heart is not pure. So what we should hear Guru Sadhu Shastra. That is our heart. Later on, that Guru Sadhu Shastra, they come into our heart. Then that becomes the heart. Then what happens? Then everything, anything which comes from the heart, that is actually they are actually telling. That means Guru Sadhu Shastra is telling. That's how we actually see from our heart. This is actually seeing the soul. Is it not very simple? It's easy. But what we should do is we should bring those personalities into our heart. We should at most respect. Panchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnava. They are my masters, my spiritual master, my teacher, Prabhupada, all Guru Param. They are the master for me. But if I have one master and we sincerely devote ourselves to him, then all the access to other masters are given to us. Because what is happening here, dear devotees? Through that Guru Sadhu Shastra, when we follow that Guru Sadhu Shastra, sincerely what happens is that becomes our life and soul. That is actually speaking through the soul. That itself is me. What is that me? This me is hearing from that me. What is that me? Guru Sadhu Shastra. That means I have to be completely wiped off. They have to come into us. They should be us. They should be everything for us. That means I do everything. If it is pleasing them, I'll do it. If it is not pleasing them, I'll not do it. That's simple. The mind only one reject, accept, reject, sankalpa, vikalpa. If it is Guru Sadhu Shastra, do it. If it is not Guru Shastra, not Guru Sadhu Shastra, don't do it. For this, your hearing should be very, 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 very deep. The process of Shravana, it intensifies. Then what happens? Then we know which should be done, which not should be done. Then it becomes very clear for us. And that's how we may advancement and progress in Krishna consciousness. Then that becomes our soul. Then we can actually perceive the soul also. That is a state of self-realization. Because sadhaka is not doing anything else other than what Guru Sadhu Shastra is telling. Isn't this such a beautiful experience, dear? I know if you do one word as per Guru Sadhu Shastra, you definitely get experience. Now, what to speak if your life is like that? Think about that. For example, if you know, if you invest 1 rupee in this in this particular company, that 1 rupee in 10 years it will be 100 rupees. Then do you put only 1 rupee in that? You're sure 100 it will become 100 rupees. That 1 rupee will become 100 rupees. Now what do? You put everything because you're trusting. Through that, what happens? You slowly gain the faith. How did Bhaktisiddhar Saraswati Maharaj was able to do that? Through relationship. He's feeling their presence continues. That's why he was weeping. He cannot stay in separation of his spiritual master. He knows his father has given him so much. He cannot go against the principle which his father gave. See, the submission is so much power. This is our life in soul. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Reno Bhajana Nukula. Dear Bhaktisiddhar Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj, at the time when he was leaving body, he was reciting these prayers. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Reno. How can I leave the association of a pure soul? Because he himself is a manjari, he cannot stay in separation of them. This is what we have to cultivate in our life. They are our life and soul. They give us everything. So we should come out of all these propensities and then move forward. Hare Krishna. That sloka which I told a couple of days back is 5.26. Kama krodha vimuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanaha. Translation, very beautiful translation. Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme, the very near future. Very simple. To go back to God, you don't have to do anything. You have to check your heart. You have to transform that heart. And that acharyas, they have to come into our heart. And when they become our life and soul, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu, that is our only shelter. They are the only shelter for us. Then our life is perfected. Bhajana Anukula. Because to that Shuddha Bhakta Charana Renu only, one can do bhajana. What is this? What is this Shravana and Kirtan? This is bhajana only. Shravana is also bhajana. Because what do we do in Shravana? We glorify them. Is it not bhajana? What is Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Oh, my dear Lord, please engage me in your service. Oh, my dear Krishna, you are unlimited. You have unlimited qualities. You are magnanimous. Oh, Hare is the internal energy of the Lord. Who is Rama? Is the reservoir of all the opulences. Oh, my dear Lord, please, please, please give me your association. That is what? That is glorification. What is this Shravana and what is this Smarana? Glorification. Glorification. My smarana is not good devotees because I always think my smarana doesn't go deeper. It should go more deeper because somehow I have this material desires. That's why smarana is not going inside. So we should actually work on this. Thus, material desires should completely remove. When this material desires are completely removed, then the smarana is intensified. Then through that smarana, what is happening? Happiness. Because what are you doing? You are locking those experiences. When you lock those experiences, that is what you give the mind. That's how we make progress. Hare Krishna. So if time permits, read 5.26. Read this shloka also. 48. So this last line, I will tell this and conclude. So unless one satisfies Krishna, one cannot correctly observe the principles of Varnashrama Dharma. Indirectly, Arjuna was advised to act as Krishna told him. That means indirectly Arjuna is telling indirectly Krishna is telling Arjuna to become my servant, you become submissive. Indirect Prabhupada is writing. See his heart. They are devotees. This person, he knows everything. See his heart. He's telling the heart directly. He's telling the heart of Arjuna. Oh, I see that in my spiritual master's heart also when he speaks. Because they get revealed. Everything is revealed for them. Purity is a force. Through purity only we can understand what Krishna consciousness is. Because every person, every jiva has to experience. Today, devotee was asking this question, very interesting question. We'll discuss about this question tomorrow. I'll tell this question and conclude. What is the question? Is yes, spiritual master is pure devotee. Self-realized souls, they're understanding the truth very nicely. They're following that. They're experiencing so much happiness. They're very bliss in Krishna consciousness. That is true. I accept that. What is he telling is, I want some of that experiences. How do I get that? Because unless and until I get that, I cannot experience that. Jiva has to get it. It's a good question. Now, how to get that, we'll discuss that. Correct. I'll stop here. Anyone else would like to add anything? So beautiful science. If I have some time, I'll read this 26 today, 5.26. Kamakrodha vimuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate vidita atmanaha. The jiva has to be free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, who are self-disciplined, who constantly endeavoring for perfection. These personalities are assured to go back home. This is a pura head here, devotees. Don't think that by getting initiated, by just chanting and having material desires, I'll go to the spiritual world. No, no, no. Oh, Maya is cheating us. No, no, we cannot stop there. There's a lot of shikshana has to be given. This is what we are discussed today is manas shiksha. It's a practical way of doing manas shiksha, training the mind. We have to do this. We have to do this because mind is our enemy, but it can be our friend also. How? If you share that experiences. Through the process of Shavana, mind can be our friend. What all you have to do is initially mind will do back and forth. But you have to stick to Guru Sadhu Shastra. We have to stick to that. If I stick to Guru Sadhu Shastra, mind slowly will be pacified. And through that pacification, it will get experiences. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to add anything or else I'll stop here.
And Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisance.
Hare Krishna.
Just Krishna Prabhu. So we just want just sharing my to what I heard from you in the classes. Even following Guru Sadhu Shastra, we wouldn't know until we hear that in the class on what to on what is Guru Sadhu Shastra itself. We need to know, right, Prabhu, to follow.
Exactly. Otherwise, we don't know. We don't know what is this Guru Sadhu. You're right on. You're hitting the nail. Actually, that is correct. It is right concentration because we don't even know what Guru Sadhu Shastra is. But somebody has to tell us, right? Otherwise, how would I know that? I have to change my clutch. I have to change from gear 1 to gear 2. Somebody has to train me. So you have driven automatic car, that is everything is happening automatically. But when you are sitting in a manual car, you have to know how to change from gear 1 to gear 2. Otherwise, the car will halt in between. You have to correctly change. Otherwise, car will be bumpy. You have to, likewise, we have to know what this Guru Sadhu Shastra is, how the Guru Sadhu Shastra can be kept into our consciousness. How is that they will come into our heart? How is it they will drive our life? How is through that driving we feel happiness? Very important. Devotees, I'll tell you something. If I'm not experiencing joy and happiness, I wouldn't have been sharing this every day. Please understand. It's only by the mercy of my spiritual master. Somehow I'm getting some happiness. That happiness only I'm sharing. Because Krishna consciousness is a joyful process. You have to experience that. And everyone has to. That's our responsibility. I remember my spiritual master telling, you don't need a spiritual master if you don't want to go to, if you don't have a desire to please the Lord. If you don't have a desire to serve the Lord, you don't need a spiritual master. That's a heavy statement, actually. But it's a very a soft statement where the father is telling a son. When a father is telling the son, son should know what is the clarity. If Guru Sadhu Shastra is important, that is damn important. There's no other thing. And somebody has to tell us, somebody has to show through their life. Otherwise, how would I know that this Guru Sadhu Shastra is helping? I should also experience that. Otherwise, how would I tell that that should be brought into the heart if that thing is not taken to the heart? All those things have to be assessed. As exactly what you said is absolutely right because the Guru Sadhu Shastra also has to be known to us. That's so we gain. Correct. Please continue.
No, Prabhu, thank you so very much. And only through Shravana that we get to know who is Guru, how is he helping us, what is Shastra, how he is indebted to Shastra, and how is that and all only through this learning every day, like in a small group or individually, personally asking and checking whether my path is the path that I'm going through is basically sharing the heart. Otherwise, it's you know, as you always say, hearing from YouTube, and then we will understand, we will hear, but we will hear through our perspective, and then we try to implement, and then somehow material energy will be baffled up. uh, Everyone will have this experience. So this Shravana, and then asking, and then sharing, correcting, basically this training. Uh, Through this training only we will, at least I feel that experience. I am getting that feeling that I'm in a right path only through this training. Otherwise, it's very hard, bro. As I was saying, to know Guru Sadhu Shastra, this training is very, very important, is what I'm getting in my heart, bro. I'm just sharing.
If I don't have the training, how can I do the coding? If I'm not trained, how can I do the coding? Simple, right? If I don't know, if I don't receive the training of how to code the code or how to write the code or whatever, metadata or data about data. If I don't know all of those logistics, all of those details, then how can I do that? I might say something in the interview, then I might get a job. But I have to sustain. In order to sustain, I should know what I have to do. If I don't know, they will see for a week, 2 weeks. They'll understand this person is not doing. They will give 1 month also. After that also is not improving, then they will fire. That means that experience has to come. That knowing has to come. And that knowing and experience comes by working for Krishna. Karmanyavadikarasya mafalesu kadacha. That has to apply. It has to be applied into our life. Somehow, shape or form, we should try to connect to that. Then slowly, through that connection, we definitely will get experience. For sure. Far sure about that. There's no doubt about it. Krishna is there, Prabhu. Mataji, Prabhuji, Krishna is there. Prabhupada is still there. Spiritual masters' words, their work. All we need to do is we need to just follow. Their work, they are all there. We are not alone. They are all with us. It's very important. And also, if you see, the very interesting, I always think about this. The topic which we discuss, we might discuss the topic again, but we will discuss in a new flavor. We don't see that as a repetition because it's the inspiration coming from the Lord. That's the beauty in the process. That's why Krishna consciousness is a natural science. We have to come to that, connecting back to the roots. Krishna, if you allow me to speak, you should speak through this. Richa Master should speak. We cannot speak. Even the questions, the Lord who is sitting in the heart, they inspire to ask something or to share something, to discuss. This is how we do Dadati Pratignati Guya Vakyati Prachati. Giving and taking is very important. Through giving and taking only, your experiences are interchanged. You get connected on a deeper level. And these experiences, we have to put it in the capsule and then bind it. How do we put these things in the capsule? If you are continuously Krishna conscious, which I'm not, we want to become that. We have to be Krishna conscious. There's no other shelter for us. This is the only thing for us. Sadhaka has to come to that state. Arjuna was thinking so many things. But later on, he came to this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. At Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, Arjuna halted. And he understood, Krishna is revealing everything. Then he will begin to ask about the glories of the pure devotee. Hare Krishna, we'll go through that. It will come soon. Hare Krishna. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Prabhu. Lastly, I would say, though you came to please your spiritual master through this service, it's actually benefiting us through this training every day. It's a lot of benefit. So thank you so. Just want to share gratitude.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. If I have spoken anything wrong, caused any inconvenience to you with my words, please excuse me. We'll stop it here. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gaur Pranam, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Thank you for giving wonderful lecture, Prabhuji, and thank you for giving wonderful